This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by unfoundcandle.com. You found them. Well, I'm standing here with Tom Brennan, superintendent of the Manchester School District. And I wanted to, I guess I've been waiting for a long time to talk to a superintendent about this because it's kind of a pet peeve of mine. Children not being allowed to use electronics in their schoolrooms, which means they can't videotape what's going on. Why is that?
Well, mainly it's a concern about disruption, whether or not it's disrupting the classroom. You can see that teachers are trying to teach classes, and you have this going back and forth. That's increased over the years. When we had tape recorders that we had to carry, now you have all this access, and that's the real reason why we have the concern about electronic devices. Videotaping, whatever. And actually, there are students who do use videotaping of the equipment of the school, and that's the purpose of it. So
now they're allowed to have cell phones in the building. They just can't use them.
They should not be using them. That's right. They shouldn't be bringing them out.
I see. Okay, so in an emergency, they'd be available. So it's not going to be like the Columbine situation where in Columbine the cell phones were a lifeline for the kids. That could be if there was a problem in Manchester, that could be the case. They'd have their cell phones with them.
Sure, and
that's good.
More and more faculty members have cell phones. Administration has cell phones.
Yeah.
I call it the electronic elastic. You
right.
get to a certain point, they pull you back. But no, it's just a matter of disruption and what impacts there. And then quite concerning now is cyberbullying, and rather than yelling and screaming at each other across the room, they could be texting one another, and then suddenly it becomes an issue. So we think it's in the best interest of the school district and the students that they not use them during school time.
Well, now the young man who did choose to videotape when there was an altercation between a policeman and a student, is he going to be punished at all for videotaping?
No, not to my knowledge.
Okay.
That's a local administration decision. By that I mean the school. If anything, he would be part of the policies and procedures that he had a cell phone and he wasn't to be using it. But I know people have talked about the erasing of that. That's never come to my level. And
you mean the attempted erasure?
Yes, yeah.
So you don't think that actually happened?
I do not know that.
Okay.
You're the first to ask me that question quite candidly. So
okay.
That's the best response I can get to you.
What about this transparency issue, though? I mean, the fact that if I'm forced to pay for some of what goes on inside Manchester schools, shouldn't I be able to see it? And aren't students as good an eyes as any for me?
I imagine, but again, the concern is the disruption. What happens if, you can see it now, when you walk around the city, people walk into each other because they're looking at their texting. I have to admit, I'm old school.
Yeah.
But I think transparency can go to like everything else, too far one way or another. One of the challenges we have as educators is determining how we can best utilize this device and other devices and get involved in the social networking to an extent that it's a positive thing rather than negative. And most of us have gray hair and look like I do, and we need to figure out a way to do that. We need to rely on the students.
If I wanted, just as an indie journalist, to go in and randomly videotape some of what's going on in classrooms, and see how the kids are being taught, how difficult or easy would it be for me to do?
It would be very difficult, and I'll tell you the other reason is that we have many of our students, not a large percentage, but many students who are attending school in our district because of perhaps a legal placement, and the last thing I want to be responsible for is having someone take a picture and then all of a sudden it goes online and the person who may be stalking them, chasing them, maybe an unhappy parent, come and get them. There's a lot deeper issues than simply saying, okay, I'm going to go in and take a picture. So that's a concern, a real concern of mine.
What if I had a concern about I don't at the moment, but what if I had a concern about what was being taught and I wanted to get video of teachers teaching it? I can't get that. I can't videotape that either?
No.
See, that's the concern,
Well, again, it needs to be, as I said earlier, we need to figure out ways to really work with the social networking technology that we have out there and figure out a way to catch up to the times.
All right. Well, if you're not punishing that student for videotaping, I appreciate that.
I'm not commenting on that. As I said, it's a local issue. I'll check with the administration.
Oh, so you're not sure that he's not being punished?
That's right.
Okay.
That's what I said earlier.
I see. Oh, just local. I see. Okay.
By that I mean the building principal.
All right.
All right?
Okay, I appreciate it, Superintendent.
Sure.
Take care out there.
You as well.
Unfound candles are very, very nice for a very moderately price. Free of petrowax, with or without spice. You'll like unfound candles twice. Unfoundcandle.com. You found them.